Our doctor said this is the worst asthma case I've ever seen in a child in his whole career. My name is Joel Wilkinson. This is our son Zildjian, our daughter McKaylee.
I'm Lacey Wilkinson.
Before we went to Dr. Ky, Zildjian was taking 7 treatments a day. 2 in the morning, 2 during the day, 2 at night, and then an additional treatment before he went to bed. Now all he takes is 1 treatment at some time during the day. Before, he was taking emergency treatments. We were going to the emergency room every 3 to 6 months. Now he hasn't been in the emergency room in the last 6 months now.
Right.
And hasn't even had emergency treatment in the last 6 months. The constant worry about, do we have the right medicine with us? Whenever he was with the grandma or an aunt or at daycare, he always had to be having treatments all the time. Everybody had to know what to do for him.
This is our life.
So yeah, seriously, we would spend, this is hours a day of making sure the medicine was straight and making sure he had the treatments and getting him to sit down and take the treatments. And that was incredible in itself to get a 3-year-old to take these treatments for 20, 30 minutes at a time. Okay.
2.5-year-old. He started early on this nebulizer right here.
So, we always had to entertain him or sit in front of the TV and give him to hold this or put his mask on at the end of this. So this was a 1.5 years, 2 years of our life right here dealing with this okay? Now, we go puff and he breathes, and that's once a day and that's it. So it takes less than 30 seconds. It's debatable whether he even needs this anymore.
When the doctors say, okay, give him this and it should help him, when you start giving him all this medicine and it's just not doing anything, that's the scariest part.
Yeah. I remember laying in the couch in the hospital bed for 3 nights in a row. He's hooked up to the IVs. They're coming in every few hours to give him more albuterol or Zopanex or whatever it was they were giving him at the time. And I remember praying, we got to find something different because this isn't working. When we first went in, Dr. Ky ran the tests on him, and it showed, instead of being little white yellow bars or no bar at all, it was all black all the way out. Okay, and of course Dr. Ky knows what he's doing, and I don't know how to read the chart, but I do know that I can read colors, and it didn't look good. So we got to talking about it and said, well, let's take him and see what happens. Let's give it a try. It's worth a try.
Ooh, all right.
After the first few treatments, then he went back to his asthma doctor and they reduced his medication, and it's just been a decrease in medication since then, and a complete lack of asthma symptoms since then. Since the very first treatment, no asthma symptoms.
It was a blessing. It was a big blessing. Dr. Ky is fun, and Zildjian is a little superhero. So every time we go and Zildjian gets on the table, Dr. Ky picks him up and he zooms him over to the table, and then when he's done, he zooms him back over, and every time it's higher. And Dr. Ky is a really tall person, so it's really fun for Zildjian.
I'm in his office for a couple hours a week, okay, making balloons in there for the kids. I get to talk to a lot of his clients. And it's interesting to see that people will come in and say, hey, I got the sniffles this week, so I came to see Dr. Ky.
Exactly. That is the coolest thing. And they say, we have the sniffles or we have the flu, and we came to Dr. Ky, and they got over it faster than any other kid in their class. The biggest thing that I've gotten out of going to Dr. Ky or taking my son for his asthma is that my worry level went from here to here. I don't worry so much about my son having to go to the hospital or turning blue, because I know by now that it has worked for him. It has helped his little lungs breathe, and my fear is drastically lower. I mean, for Zildjian Wilkinson, it is a breath of fresh air. Because he can breathe. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Ky.
Thank you, Dr. Ky.